Hello and welcome to What's New Microsoft 365 and Teams for the 3rd to the 21st of March 2022. I'm Mark Thompson from Super Simple 365 and these are the topics we're going to cover. So OneDrive, Power Apps, SharePoint, Teams, a welcome return for Yammer. I know Yammer gets a lot of stick, I really like it. And then we're going to have a look at a few things from around Microsoft 365. Let's start with OneDrive. So we've got pinned shared libraries to quick access. Have a quick look at the screen here. So when you go to a document library, so this is just at the main library level. Once you drop into folders, you don't get this option, but you're going to get the ability to select pin to quick access. Then when you go to your OneDrive, underneath here, they will appear. Also, if you go to more places, you can see I'm just highlighting that now, more places, then you'll see all your recent areas that you've been to across SharePoint. So those two updates really worth looking out for. Due March for some people, and if you are amongst the people who get stuff early, you'll know who you are. But for the rest of us, it's going to be mid to late April this year. A couple of delays moving your shortcuts in OneDrive, now due late March to mid-April, so not too far away. So you can see here just the ability to move your shortcuts. Now, let's say you work in an organisation and you work on the whatchamacallit project, but that's got it's got materials across various different places. It means that you can create your links and then just bring them all into one folder called whatchamacallit, and you've got nice easy access to all of your updates. This link to the copy link command in OneDrive, SharePoint. OneDrive and SharePoint, sorry. So it just means that instead of you having to start your link and then having to go into it to choose some settings, straight away when you click it, you can see here that you're going to get can edit and then the options for opening. That familiar interface, that's coming, but it's pushed back just a little bit and should be with us by late May. Okay, Power Apps. Create and manage Power Apps from Microsoft lists within Microsoft Teams. So when I tweeted this had one of the best responses I've had for quite a long time. It's the ability to create mobile-friendly apps from within Microsoft lists inside Teams using a new integration with Power Apps. Apologies for not having an image for this, by the way, folks. So a published app can then be pushed into Teams as a Teams into a Teams channel. So to use this, then you will go to Teams, then you open your list inside Teams, and then from inside your list that's inside Teams, then you go to integrate Power Apps and then create an app. You can do it in there. So it just means it's all wrapped up in that one container of Teams. Look out for that, folks. Due end of March into early February. Okay, so SharePoint, I might have commented on this last week, but I'll just run past it again. So this is already live for many people, but for some, it might be as late as April. So although most of us have got this, it just means that the spell checking is no longer in your browser. It's your Microsoft spell check. And one benefit of this, just a really small benefit that's really nice, is that actually to look at the options, it's actually a right click rather than a left click, rather than a right click. So I used to find that when I used to right click on my typos, I'd often get the right click selection from the browser rather than a selection of spellings. It's just nice that it's gone onto the right click, onto the left click. Sorry, I keep getting those two mixed up. I apologise. So yeah, look out for that. It's a small change, but I really like it. Also, the ability to delete folders that have got more than 10,000 items in them. So this is OneDrive as well as SharePoint, actually. So just that little bit of just making life a little bit easier if you've got those huge folders. Look out for that middle of March into April. And look, in Teams conversation search. So when you do a search on office.com and SharePoint, as well as your searching your emails, it will show you email messages and your Teams messages in that one view. I remember we were talking about this. It used to show the Yammer, but Yammer's getting pushed out into its own tab or its own vertical now as well. Whoops, due late March. Okay, Teams. Not a lot going on with Teams. I think, folks, Microsoft are holding stuff back at the moment because it seems to have dried up a little bit. I think they're holding stuff back, and then we're going to have a lot of stuff come out at once. But we'll see. The ability to cast from a Teams desktop client into Microsoft Teams rooms. So, quick disclaimer, I've been to the office, I think twice in 2 years, and I certainly haven't been in a Microsoft Teams room. So if I butcher this as I go along, pick out the bits that make sense to you and maybe look up on this yourself afterwards. The ability to use Teams casting to wirelessly connect to a Teams room. You see here on the right hand side, you're inside the room, and you click on the little drop down, and you get this new option, and the option is to cast. So you can display your content from your Teams desktop client on that screen. Okay, so that is due mid-March to late April. So you can see that I've kind of skimmed over those details, haven't I? Because it's not something that I know that much about. But if that is your thing, look out for the link to the blog post, folks. I've got a full write-up on that should be useful to you. Text predictions for Teams Android mobile devices. So, swipe right and you take the suggestion. But of course, if you want to, you can see here, we go into the settings in the app, and you can disable that if you want to. Sharing your computer audio on web. So this is part of Microsoft's leveling up of the browser version of Teams and the full-fat version of Teams. And this just means that you get the ability to share your video, your computer audio, which I guess is most useful. Off the top of my head, the best example I can think of is showing a video that's got audio. Anyway, that is coming. The ability to share your system audio when you share in the browser is coming late April. Okay, next up we've got Yammer. I kind of miss working with Yammer. I really liked it. So we don't use it in the place where I spend most of my time now, or the previous one actually. I think I'll have to go back to my Zurich days or Staffordshire Police days maybe. So over 4 years ago since I've used it properly. But I really liked it. Used well, Yammer is really a really good tool. But let's see what we've got. So dark mode is coming late March into early April. The ability to have bookmarks. So you got a message here. Click on 3 little dots. Click on bookmarks. But this shows how rusty I am with Yammer. I don't even know where you have to go to find those bookmarks. If you do know, maybe you could pop a note in the chat. That'd be appreciated. So a bit rusty there, folks. I do apologise. Hopefully that update is still useful to you. The ability to edit attachments in Yammer threads. So you've got a Yammer thread. So you've got an attachment in there. It just means that you, as the poster, you can edit that thing that you have attached. You don't have to delete it and then resend it. So that, I think, is a super useful feature. That is coming. In fact, all of those are coming in Yammer. So in Yammer month, April this year. Okay, around Microsoft 365 account switching. This looks quite nice. So if we just zoom in on this a little bit, so you've got the ability there to switch accounts, super easily switch accounts. It just means that you can sign into multiple accounts in the same browser, because previously you might have had different browsers open, or you might have gone into incognito mode or whatever. It just means that you have that one browser and you can manage all your different accounts in that one browser. Look out for that mid to late January. That can't be right. Give me a second. And this is due early April to late June. So that looks awesome. Look out for that, folks. What else we got? This, I talked about this ages ago, didn't I? And it kind of went away and now it's back. The ability to create videos on the Office mobile. It's been pushed back, but it's now due end of March. So what's it now? Kind of third week of March. Look out for that, folks, over the next week and a half or so. What else do we have? The Microsoft Viva Digest email is going from once a month to twice a month, middle of April into late May. And I wonder whether this is sort of related to that account switching one I previously talked about. It's the idle session timeout for 365 web apps. So I guess especially useful for people who are using their own devices. Anyway, so that is due June to late August for most of us, and I guess depending on the policy of the organisation, I bet. I did read this, but I can't remember the details. I'm sure that the organisation can set what the timeout period is. Okay, so people-centric search rollout. So this is the ability. I really like the idea of searching for the XYZ project, and then person X has got loads, has got a really good result for the XYZ project. But then instead of me then having just searched just on a term, I can click on the person and just see whether they've produced anything else that might be relevant to me. Of course, assuming they've shared it. But that is what we mean by the people-centric search. Look out for that, folks. Push back a little bit into late May. Okay, personal one here. I just find this very frustrating. This is my these are my Surface headphones. I love these headphones. So, well, Bose two sets of Bose have come and gone, and I just love these. I might have had these. I got these at I won these at a Microsoft conference. It must have been 3 years ago, maybe. Anyway, so the headband has broken, and apparently it's quite a common thing because the strengthening inside stops just where they keep breaking. If you look at the internet, you see that it's really common. And people say that Microsoft are doing out of warranty repairs because it's a borderline design fault. Just a note on my experience trying to get support for this. It is the worst support experience I've ever had. I've known at work for being a borderline Microsoft fanboy, and I've got like a nice Surface Go, and over there I've got a nice Xbox setup. But I love these headphones. I will never buy another pair of Surface headphones. They've got a common fault, and they do not want to know. When you call up, when you eventually find out how to contact support, by the way, for this sort of thing, you end up spending 6 minutes tapping through the the auto menu. Then it just sacks you off and cuts you off. Another time it asks you it confirms your number and then just cuts you off. You never hear again. So just from that point of view, I will never buy another personal Surface device, I don't think. But I will say though, just while I'm having a rant, the Twitter service, I think it's at Microsoft Help, they're brilliant, super communicative, kept in touch, pointed me towards the phone numbers, kept in touch, and eventually they explained that, you know what, this out of warranty repair for these is a myth. But at least they gave me an answer. But anyway, so the thing that I really want to ask is if anyone knows a fix for these, because I love these headphones and they're honestly the best I've ever had. If anyone knows a fix for that, please put a note in the comments, because it'd be really helpful. I'd really appreciate that. Anyway, finished my little rant. So folks, how to keep in touch: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, a podcast, the blog, or once you get to the blog, sign up for the newsletter. Just do a search for Super Simple 365 in whatever platform you're on, whether you're looking at your podcast, YouTube, or the internet, whatever. Do a search on that and you will find me. If you are watching the video, folks, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, because every couple of weeks you get these updates, and it makes such a difference to me being able to get the word out there. But for now, guys, we are done. Thank you very much for watching, listening, however you're getting this, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.